Would you enjoy having social connections that were much easier, where you could show your personality, use a little bit of charisma? I believe these are things that we can develop over time, but even more importantly, you already have it in you. It just has to be unlocked. To show you this, let me share a quick story. If I were to take you with me back to high school, you would see a kid that was very shy, never wanted to raise his hand, never wanted to be heard, never really wanted to use my voice, and just kind of hid in the crowd. But I went through different life situations that really pulled out my personality and allowed me to develop some charisma that I use in a variety of ways today. The first thing I want you to consider doing is putting yourself in situations that pull out your personality a little bit. I did that almost by mistake. I opened my first gym when I was in my early 20s, and I started like training people one-on-one, right? Helping them get in better shape, training them one-on-one. So then at one point I was like, I know what to do next. I'm gonna start these boot camps. So the next thing you know, I got groups of like 20 people, 40 people. At one point I had 65 people in my boot camp. And so what I realized was, oh shoot, like I'm not as comfortable training these groups of people. In fact, I remember I used to take like a little note card. I'd write down these little motivational quotes. I'd stand way far away from everybody and I'd read these quotes to them and then tell them kind of what they're gonna do next. And then before long, there was no note card. I was very in the moment. And again, I'm leading a group of 65 people, blowing a whistle, having them hit the ground, running, all this like fun stuff, right? Lots of energy. What I realize now is what was taking place is I was kind of like pulling that energy out of me. As an example, it shows up in different ways. So like when everyone would get there, I had to learn to connect the group. Like, hey, here's this person. Hey, meet this person. Have you met her before? I'd kind of connect the group, right? And I'd kind of get the energy up. And then even afterwards, I'd kind of get everyone connected again, give a little talk to everybody, encourage them. It was a different situation that I'd never really felt into before, like connecting a group and then kind of dispersing a group. What I realize now that was taking place back then is I was learning a lot about like energy, social dynamics, how to connect people, charisma, how to pull that out of myself. But it's a lot about just that, it's energy. And so I was connecting a group, right? Like that's what I was doing by introducing them to each other, by bringing my energy to the situation, by being very positive. It forced me to pull out that charisma out of myself. So find situations where you can kind of stretch yourself. If you can teach a class, if you can just maybe talk to larger groups of people, if you can take a risk and tell the joke in front of everyone. Like a lot of times what we have to show ourselves is that rejection is okay. Like that's the cool thing about maybe even approaching somebody and asking them out. If they say no, it's like your brain goes, wait, I'm still alive. The worst case scenario didn't happen, but we have to show ourselves that. Same thing when I was in front of that group and I'm reading the quotes from way far away. Pretty soon I'm like, oh, they're not laughing at me. They're not making fun of me. And if they are, so what, right? And then pretty soon I'm able to get rid of that note card, move a little bit closer, and then before long, I'm right there just present in the moment. So we're doing the same thing with ourselves. We're looking for those types of situations to show ourselves and our brain everything's okay. The next thing I really want you to consider doing is to avoid drinking alcohol when you go out. So what happened for me when I was in my early 20s is, again, I started my first business, but I realized every time I'd go out and I'd drink, like the next few days I was obviously hungover, but more importantly, it was like it kind of like dropped down my mindset, meaning I felt like very insecure, like who was I to do this? My business is gonna fail. And I realized like every time I drink, I'd have this like very heavy energy, like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this, I gotta quit. And so I told myself, all right, dude, no more drinking. Like you can't do that. You can't afford to do it. It weakens your state too much. And then I remember telling myself the specific thing. I was like, all right, Troy, you have to learn how to go out, make social connections, have fun without alcohol. Like see if you can almost act like you do have alcohol or just kind of be in that state without drinking it. And so literally like when I'm in my early 20s, I'd go out and pretty soon it was less alcohol. And then it was like maybe a little bit of wine. And then pretty soon it was no alcohol at all. But I was still able to make those connections, still able to meet people. And pretty soon, like even to this day, I love to go out, I like to dance, no alcohol, but you would think I am drinking alcohol. Not because like I'm slurring my words, I'm not faking anything. I'm still very loose and still very open. But we all know alcohol is like a shortcut. We drink it, and pretty soon we're dancing and talking, whatever. But what I want you to think about doing is if you can train yourself how to do that without alcohol, then you can take that same energy and apply it to your everyday life. And then your charisma literally can show up wherever. It can show up at a grocery store if you meet somebody. It can show up when you go out with some friends. It can show up at any time you want. It's there because you're always training it, always developing it. Like quite literally, I like to go to the mall and I'll just kind of practice. I'll interact with people. I'll say this, I'll say that. I'll joke with them. Again, it's an exchange of energy. It's almost like hitting a ping pong ball. I'll throw a little bit of playfulness out there. It's like hitting a ping pong ball. And then they'll throw something back at me. And again, it's just a back and forth of energy. but you learn how to do that, and then you can use it anytime you want. The next thing that I think will help you out is to have an intention each time you go out. Not something big, just a little intention. So when you go out and maybe you're meeting a new group of people, or you're going to a show or some event, just say, all right, I want to laugh. I'm focusing on laughter. I'm focusing on play. I'm focusing on connection. I'm focusing on listening, whatever it is. Like oftentimes for me, I go out and I'm like, all right, I just want to be open, loose, and have fun. Open, loose, playful. Open, loose, relaxed. Like think of that energy versus maybe not having an intention. If we don't set an intention, sometimes it's too easy to go out kind of with our guard up, our armor on, like we have to be a little tough or guarded. But what kind of connections are you going to have with that energy? You're actually going to push people away from you. So rather set that intention, like I want to be open, loose, relaxed. It's much easier to have energy and people come in towards you. So try putting a little bit of an intention every time you go out or you're trying to make a connection. It'll naturally help you find charisma. So the next thing you can do is talk about things that interest you. That's where you're naturally going to have excitement and enthusiasm. So right now, if you ask me about robotics or something like that, I'm not going to be very interesting. I don't know anything about it. It'd be kind of a dead conversation. But if I talk to you about things I enjoy, personal development, business, social situations, anything like that, I'm naturally going to be much more charismatic. So when you're meeting someone for the first time, trying to find those like common connection points that align with things that naturally make you enthusiastic. It'll pull out your charisma very organically. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is to let go of perfectionism. Like I remember when I used to go out and I was younger, it was like, all right, we gotta look good, gotta lift the weights, gotta be in shape, everything's gotta be right. And not that those things don't matter to me today, like I still take care of myself, but it's like way lower on the priority list. It's so much more impactful to be able to laugh at yourself rather than worrying about being perfect. Who wants to be perfect anyways? Like what a heavy energy that is to carry. And again, if we think about everything as energetics, if someone's trying to be perfect, trying to be the best, trying to be the most liked, trying to be the best looking guy or girl out there, like is that an energy you're gonna wanna be around? Or if somebody's like, dude, I just wanna go out here and play, laugh, I can laugh at myself, I can make jokes with other people, that doesn't matter to me. Think of that as like energy, right? It's gonna be much easier and you're gonna desire to be around that person. So everything at the end of the day comes down to an energy that you're creating. Think of it like this. Charisma is not an on and off switch. It's more like a volume meter, meaning you don't either have it or you don't have it. It's something that you learn to develop. You turn up the volume of your charisma. And that's actually what charisma is. It's already inside of you. It just needs to be unlocked. But if you put a little bit of thought, like with these tips that I've shared here today, to develop your charisma, to pull it out of you, I believe you're gonna get great results. Your social situations will improve a lot. You have a lot more fun, easier to meet people and connect with people. I believe that is a superpower. It's already inside of you, and I believe in you. I wanna see you succeed, celebrate, and have fun in life, man. We're here to celebrate and have fun the whole freaking way. And developing ourselves is such a powerful tool. I believe our souls, the deepest part of ourselves, desire to always do that. So I make these videos for you, so if you could do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe, just join this tribe, this community that I'm building here to help share what I've learned along the way to help you so much. And check out the next video, because I think it's gonna help you as well. Until next time, peace.